Hey everybody. I wanted to tell you this really weird experience that happened to me when I was living in Las Vegas. It's related to Tai Chi and running into this very famous Tai Chi master. What happened when we sat down to dinner, and why from that experience I suspect that that person must have been at a very, very high level of Tai Chi. If not so, then I don't know how to explain it. So, hope you enjoy this story. So, it is now, I'd say, 2023. I first started learning Tai Chi back in 1980, so I've been in it for like 43 years. And through the years, I met a lot of really interesting people, man. There's a Taiwan master named Benjamin Lo who popularized Tai Chi in the West, and he was really at a high level. Well, he had several really well-known students, and I actually got to meet a couple of them. I got to meet in this park called Ba Gongyuan in Taipei. Even before it was named that, I think it was called Taipei Xin Gongyuan. There was a guy there, a master named Gan Xiaozhou, and I just showed up one day. I think that was probably in the mid-'80s, if I'm remembering right. And he tried to help me out by correcting my Tai Chi, showing me little push hands and stuff. And he was pushing on my hips, to see if I would know which way to turn and stuff. And he was telling me, all I remember from him is that he said that I have the Dongjin, which was basically the understanding of the gene. Like when they push, I can kind of figure out what's going on, basically. At least that's the meaning that I assigned to it at the time. And I haven't really given it much thought since. So I met him. And man, years later, I practiced in Singapore in my health profession back in 1983. Back there, I'd learned the Dong style of the Yang style, but postures from the Dongyingjie lineage. We learned at the Eankeng temple. In Kang, it's like a dialect pronunciation, so I don't know how to pronounce it because it's not Mandarin. But it was on Frankel Avenue in Singapore, and there was a Mr. Tan and a few other people that had a tiny little temple there, and they were teaching Tai Chi classes, and so that was cool. But then I moved to Las Vegas, and Las Vegas was like a desert. It was just like not much Chinese culture or anything. And so I tried to get some Tai Chi classes going from my health office, for my patients. We'd go across the street to UNLV and we'd work out near the engineering building in that covered area where the trees are, and then they have like a circle seating area on each side. That place, man, through the years has been a gathering point for Tai Chi. I'm going to try to keep it, I'm going to try to rein it in and get to this main point that I'm going to tell you. But I'll just very simply say that I met in that place one of the most influential people of my entire life, a black man from Chicago, a Tai Chi master named Wayne Johnson. I don't even think he knows what an influence he was on me, but he demonstrated what it means to be a philosopher because he lived outside under the trees, playing a flute, doing Tai Chi with a rock on his head and stuff. And up to that point in my life, it had never occurred to me that there was another way to live other than slaving away 9 to 5 for 40 years. But here he was, a living philosopher who had studied the some of the most profound writings on earth, and he'd sit there almost like Plato or Socrates, and he'd just discuss these things with people. Breathe in the fresh air, everything, man. I saw that, I thought, that is a different way to live. And that really influenced me a lot. So he was quite a great person. But the reason I'm saying this is because from that place where we practiced, if we looked to the west, was the next group of trees and concrete and stuff where other people could practice if they wanted. And sometimes we would look down there to the west. We see this really cool looking lady down there practicing, man. She was really skilled. She looked really like she knew what she was doing. And her name was Tana, and so in my group we had my friend Walt. He was one of us, and so we'd talk once in a while to the people from the other styles and the other groups, but generally we didn't do push hands with them because some of them, in their way of thinking, their philosophy, they didn't want to mix with the other styles lest it become too competitive, and and maybe by becoming so competitive they might develop bad habits of practice or something. So we didn't really get to work out with that good person, Tana, as far as push hands, but sorry, but she had just the most great looking form you'd ever want to see. And so what happened is, this is the amazing thing that I am going to get to right now. Her teacher was the famous student of Jungman Ching named Ben Lo Pang Jeng, or I think it's Lo. I'm not sure though of the characters. But she, and I wasn't there when they were talking, but I guess she and my other friend were talking, and she said, yeah, he's coming into town. We're going to meet at this restaurant, and we're going to have all this food together, the Cathay House Restaurant in Las Vegas. And the thing is, I'm suspecting that it was just a general statement that they're going to meet there. I think my friend asked if we could come to or meet him or something, and so he was telling us, yeah, we got invited to this. So what happened is we show up at this restaurant, and inside the inner room, they have these circular tables all set up, and I got to meet Master Lo, got to shake his hand and everything. But you could just tell when we arrived that they kind of weren't really expecting us to show up there. I mean, it just seemed like something was off. Like, yeah, it's a big surprise that we're having our Tai Chi group meeting, all of our group people in this, and then in walks this other Tai Chi school with, like 8 to 10 people. And I guess it wasn't that clear that we'd been invited to it. I could just tell it was very awkward. And I don't know what happened, if we actually were invited and it just seemed that way, or if maybe there was a miscommunication. So the amazing and the thing is, I have this condition called essential tremor. I can do Tai Chi and have my hands pretty steady, but and this is the miraculous part I'm telling you about right now. Okay, the profound, amazing thing that I would never have suspected. I have this condition called essential tremor that I can do Tai Chi just fine, but when it comes to putting my intention onto some task like feeding, like eating, the more I try not to spill my food, the more my hand shakes. And I've had that for years. So this is the weird thing, and this is why I suspect that Ben Lo was at a very high level of Tai Chi. And that is because he and my teacher, they sat down at the same table, at this rounded table. And I also got to sit at that same table with them. And they were pouring each other tea, just out of respect. Like one would pour they'd pour each other's little cups of tea and stuff. And I was sitting there getting ready to eat my food, and I was thinking, oh man. But anyhow, I just started eating, and my hand was just as steady as I can ever imagine anyone's hands ever being, maybe like a surgeon's hands, it was weird. I could hold the spoon, I could turn it every which way, and I'd feed myself. It was just as smooth as can be. And so what I think happened is maybe the two of them, either the two of them combined, interacting with their skills or energy levels or something. Somehow the combination produced a situation where I could actually move my hands without them just shaking like a rattlesnake. And to me, that was unearthly, because it was just so unexpected. I remember at the time, I thought, what's going on? Why are my hands so steady? So what I suspect is that Ben Lo was at a really high level, and I think my teacher, he's very good too, very skilled. And I think the two of them interacting at that table might have produced some kind of a calmness that I was just there for, and so it was pretty miraculous. So I got to meet Ben Lo, and I used to go to that park maybe once every year or two in Taiwan if I was able to, and just work out with whoever was there. Usually it would be some group that would say, man, just, you can, they were talking about me. They said, you can push them, but don't knock them onto the ground. We don't want to hurt them or dissuade them from learning. But then, but once I remember this one group, the teacher just said that, and the guy went whap like that and just flapped me right onto the ground. And the teacher said, man, I told you not to do that. That was a group that did Tai Chi and Bagua. But man, I got to tell you, back in 70s and 80s, because I was there as a missionary for the Mormons back in 76, I'd see the guys show up in that very same park with Shaolin heavy beads around their arms and stuff, and tattoos, and just some real Shaolin monk looking kind of guys. It was a real crossroads of martial arts back in the day. And I was able to keep going to that place for many years, because my dear wife was from Singapore, so we'd travel from the States to Singapore, and we'd pass through Taiwan and go to the same park that years earlier me and some of my missionary buddies would just descend on, and the people were just trying to relax and exercise or read books and stuff, and we'd go up and we'd be trying to teach them lessons and stuff. They were so nice though, so good natured. But anyhow, in summary, that's why I think Ben Lo is at a high level. And if you ever look on YouTube, just look at his form. It's just really amazing. So I have great respect for Ben Lo and for his students, and especially that even on that day when it seemed like we showed up uninvited, or only iffy as far as being invited, man, they still made room for us at the table, and they still welcomed us, and it was amazing. So please like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.